Hello, my name is Donna Mikeluk, and I'm with the Scriber Media Center. And today, our guest speaker is Jon MacDonald, who is the representative of the Jackfish Metis Association. So today, he's going to talk a little bit about the association, its role, and also there is an emergency fund available for people in our area as well. So, welcome, Jon, and welcome to 2021. We've made it. Um, can you give us a little information about yourself and your role in this association?
Well, Donna, it goes back a few years, whereas we had joined the Ontario Métis Aboriginal Association and were members or citizens of that because of the Aboriginal background in our family. Um, since then, that Métis has folded, but the reason we started one here in Scriber was because we have a lot of quite a few people, family members as well as other people who are not affiliated in any way with the Media Association, and we saw a need to have that and would give us a representation to a larger media association for the province, and also it gives our members, and I use members in a term where it's actual citizens, it gives them the potential and hope of having representation for various reasons. Uh, Representation and mission are the driving force behind, because as you are well aware, that without Métis and without voyageurs, the landscape of Canada wouldn't look like it is today.
So, what is the area that the association covers? Is it along the North Shore, or just specifically Scriber, Terrace Bay, Jackfish?
The association itself is based in Scriber and also Terrace Bay. You have to remember that if you are a citizen of an Indian reserve, if you move away, you're still a citizen of that reserve. So, like the family tie, like some of our family members have moved away for occupational reasons, but that still leaves them as members. And of course, we fill out monthly reports to them and let them know what's going on, because it's very important for all of us who belong that we are recognized, firstly as citizens of the region and Scriberite people or Terrace Bay people, but also very proud of our heritage, and that's the main driving force.
So, how large is the association?
We try to keep numbers private, but however, I can tell you the immediate family is probably in the range of 50. The immediate or the extended citizenship is probably between 60 and 100 people.
How old is the association?
How old?
Yes.
Well, we started it up when I moved back here, and I've been a real happy Scriberite for about 20 years now. I was, as you know, raised in Terrace Bay, but a big part of my life as a young person was in Scriber. I worked on the railroad. I lived here for several years. My fonder years, or a lot of my fond years, were in Scriber, playing hockey for the juniors, making a lot of friends here, and still having those friends to this day. So we can say it's fairly new, but really in reality, it started up probably in the mid 70s, late 70s, when the Métis were recognized in the Constitution of Canada, and therefore different groups saw the urgency and the need to form different associations, and therefore get the recognition and sometimes help that they may need. And we also want recognition as to who we are, as do most people.
Could you talk a little bit about the special emergency fund that's available through the association?
Well, the Jackfish Metis Association is affiliated with the Ontario Coalition of Indigenous People. It's a province-wide Métis movement with many thousands of members. They, in turn, are affiliated with the Congress of Aboriginal People, a federally recognized, funded organization that represents Métis, off-reserve status, and status Indians, as well as Inuit who choose to belong to them right across Canada. They have 10 PTOs who belong. A PTO is a provincial territorial organization. So we are part of OSIP, and we came to the realization that with this COVID-19 spreading and its seriousness, that we believe that there are some in our association and community who possibly are, enduring hard times, as well as other people are enduring hard times. But we thought we could reach out to them and offer them help, in a way that could make life a little easier for them, because some of them have lost their jobs, or their jobs have been cut back. And so as a result, we are prepared to offer help in various forms, even in schooling ways. We're very happy to have helped several students who are going to university, but have been shut out of actually going to university because of the virus. So they need to purchase extra things such as computers and books and stuff that we've been happy to help them out with, tuitions and rent and etc. So we've been able to request from all of our citizens. I send out on a monthly note or report to everybody in the region, as well as other Indigenous people who are loosely associated with us. If they have no help from any other place, that we have this program where we can actually help them. So if they then, return my request and ask for help, then with as much politeness as possible, we do send them as help as we can, and it has helped several. So, which is very good, because we're all in this together, and when we can help the communities we live in, or the citizens that we have, it's very important that we realize, or make them realize, that they're not in this alone. Some people are very, very poor. Some families are going through very hard hardships. The COVID is hard in many, many ways, without actually making you physically sick. So if we can help alleviate some of that, we're doing that, and quite happy to do it. When we have the resources, we also help other agencies or committees and stuff like that, which also we're very happy to do, because it's important as a member of a community and as being a fellow citizen of a community, whether it's Aboriginal or not. It's important that we know, or make other people know, that we're not in this together, or we're all in this together. So it's good. It works out good.
Is there a website that people can get information on how to contact you for further information?
Well, if you go to osip.org, you can access OSIP's main webpage, and then from that you can see the different directors in different regions, of which I am one, and that'll give you contact to me, or give anybody a contact to me. Plus, there's a lot of information there that can help people in other forms. Like we're very big with helping with actually schooling needs province-wide. We spend a lot of time and a lot of money with young people going to school who, through no fault of their own, wouldn't be able to do this. Wouldn't be able to go to school if it wasn't for those types of helps, or things that help. So, yeah, I'm registered on the OSIP webpage. I do not have a webpage because, as you know, we're pretty well all volunteers. We don't get paid for this. Um, through the grace of God, we find funding, we raise funding, we do things to make a little bit of money, and then we return that money back out into the community.
It sounds like you're a very active organization. I know that the Scriber Public Library was very appreciative in receiving a large donation from your organization of, I think it was $1,500. And also the organization donated money to the high school as well. There was a bursary. Are there other kinds of activities that the association does to help the area?
Well, the main help I believe that we give the area is we sit on quite a few different, I'll use boards for lack of a better word, such as we take part in the environmental assessment hearings and stuff for various companies. We did give out 4 bursaries to the Terrace High School for youngsters to go to school. We were fortunate in the fact that we could help the Legion out also. We can only do things like that though when we have the funding or it becomes available. So, but right now, I probably without going through my paperwork here, we're probably involved with I would say probably 30 to 40 different projects right now, but most of them are meetings with government, the formation of the NMCA, the local businesses in the area that are getting big, like the mine in Marathon. We're very involved with that. And we do a lot of talking to the federal government about environmental assessment processes. We're involved even with the Ring of Fire, because we do have a few members that live up in that region, not so much in the Ring of Fire, but very close to Nakina, where the roads and all that are going to be going up to the Ring of Fire. So it does keep us hopping. Sometimes I am overwhelmed, and if you you have some spare time, I could get you to write some reports for me, because you have to remember that one of the main things that we're involved with is talks with the government for recognition, and those are ongoing, and they're it's exceptionally political. And us being just normal people up here, sometimes it's a handful, but we believe we're making progress. I'm sorry.
That's very interesting. I hadn't realized that there were so many projects underway through the association. Is there one in particular that you're working on now that really stands out that you'd like to share?
Well, I think there's a couple of very important ones. Is that right now we're starting to set up a mapping process for the North Shore of Lake Superior through the eyes of Métis people, and we've got our family history of movement and where they moved, why they moved, and we've got a lot of documentation and oral history which shows our root ancestors as to why and how we came here. So it's that mapping process will be eventually set up by the federal government, and it will be probably, and I'm only guessing because I can't speak for them, it'll be set up probably in the NMCA building in Nipigon, but each town will have access to that project and the map itself. Basically, it will highlight the region and tell you at each point where Métis interaction occurred. So that's an interesting one. And the second one that I'm really interested in is the Marathon mine, the palladium mine that's going up in Marathon. I got to know the people there very well. As you know, that started and then stopped, and a few of the people stayed on there with the company, and it changed hands, a generation now, and from Stillwater, and now that mine is going ahead, and within 2 years we'll see 300 to 400 jobs, direct jobs, starting up in the Marathon region. But however, we know that the mine has a trickle down effect of indirect jobs. Right now, that company for their machinery. They get most of their machinery taken care of in Scriber. So you see the little spin-offs and the jobs and the help for the area. So I'm really happy with that too. There are more, but a lot of them are Ministry of Natural Resources projects, and we have to bite our tongue lots because our main thrust is recognition, but also access for not only us, but for the local people, access to the region.
I know that you've done a lot of research on your family history. Would you like to share a little bit about that? I remember one time you came into the library and it was quite impressive, the amount of information that you were able to compile with your family background.
Well, I have to thank my wife for that because she's turned into quite a researcher, and she's found a lot of documents and files which helped in our family research. My wife is also Métis, and it's believe it or not, way back when we have common ancestors. So her family and my family have been in Canada for well over 400 years, and sometimes it's a miracle to think that we still are here, and I'm sure there's some people wishes that we weren't. But having said that, for instance, highlights of our family, the Plains of Abraham. Abraham Martin is an ancestor. That's where the battle for Canada was fought between the French and the British. It was on his farm that the battle was fought. We have other stories of massacres and Indian raids that were directly they had direct implications for our family. And then you think if this happened or that happened, but for a miracle, the family line would not have carried on. But we've been here for 400 years, and as the fur trade started to get bigger and bigger, and the rivalry grew, finally they let the borders of Quebec break open and let the voyageurs and the Métis people under contract, of course, because you couldn't go into the forest without having a contract with the then government. Under those contracts, then our ancestors started coming up through the Lake Superior region. One of my ancestors' family accompanied La Vérendrye to the Lake of the Woods region many years ago. We have the Sabourin family who sent people up here as voyageurs and Métis people trading with the Indians, but one of them stayed at Fort Pic, which is modern-day Heron Bay. That family is still in the region, and they're still there. But since those regions were turned into Indian reserves, they now have their First Nation status given to them by the Crown. But that happened since about 1800. So they have been living on those reserves and marrying Indian people. So it has kept their family as Indigenous First Nation people. The other leg of the family came through Oka and then up to Ottawa. And from Ottawa, as the jobs and things progressed west, they were voyageurs, and it's marked in the documents and the history of their jobs, what they did, and they're marked down as voyageurs, and they always looking for jobs had to move west as expansion slowly moved west. So a bunch of them ended up at Snowbank when the railroad was being built. And if you drive to White River, Snowbank is now called White River. If you drive to White River, you'll cross a little creek called Bertrand Creek. And there's a little ghost town of Bertrand down in the bush there where our family history has them. There was a little sawmill when they were making ties and stuff for the railroad in the 1800s. So that family stayed in White River. And when the North Shore started slowly opening up, because we had family in the area, then my parents, along with their brothers and sisters, moved to the region in the 1940s. And you have to remember, Donna, that the amazing thing about it was there was no road here. There wasn't an airport. It was a railroad, and that was it. So we couldn't have been here any sooner than that. But I can remember many times, as soon as our family could, as soon as they put that ferry on White Lake and we could go to White River, that there were many big family reunions. I'll tell you that. So, and it's funny as families expand, they do get quite large in some areas. When my mother was alive, we would go to a semi-annual gathering in Timmins, and you would see sometimes over 300 people that were there through marriage and whatnot. Became part of the Bertrand family. So if you're saying, well, which part of our family is the Metis side on? Well, obviously it is the Bertrand family, the French side, and so we're quite proud of that. We've been here since since Terrace Bay was started, and our other relatives were here since the late 1700s at a little place called Fort Pick. So they were up here as voyageurs and fur traders. A very interesting history and story. And from that, the family gets big, then it gets small. The job market here was strong at one time. Our family was large at one time. Now the job market has shrunk, so people have to leave to make a living. So we're getting scattered out. At one time, family stayed together and became large. Family reunions, like for Christmas and special dates, were quite large. Now they're not because of the inaccessibility of family. We've become a mobile workforce, and things evolve and change. But our family has kept their purpose alive, though, because we have 5 full-time trappers in our family in the region here. So our way of life hasn't changed. The only thing is that I can't get them involved in the politics, and they're trying to get me involved in the trapping.
That certainly is quite the legacy that you have. That's amazing, and hopefully it will carry on to future generations. So, of course, with the technology, are you finding that you're able to still keep connected with a lot of your relatives and families?
Well, the nice thing about that is that we are and can and do keep in touch with most of our family, even though the distances are getting bigger and bigger. COVID, of course, has shut us down, so there's a lot less trips or vacations or visits to people who are in kind of faraway places, because you can still be in Canada and be far away. We have a big country, but the base for our community will be Scriber and Terrace Bay, but especially Scriber. And if you think sometimes that there's not much hope for the community, you just have to look up on the hill after dark and see there is, because our tree is still burning bright, our Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, those traditions are so important, aren't they?
Yes.
That
Yes.
keep us all connected and
Yes.
moving on, moving forward. And I'm sure that this chapter, this COVID chapter, will make an interesting addition to your family history. It's pretty amazing that you're able to have that go back as far as you have. Important Canadian history.
We're lucky in a way, and we're not lucky in a way, Donna. As we age, myself included, we start losing our brothers and sisters and family members, and we're losing a lot of our history because Scriber's evolving. I see people in Scriber or around Scriber now, and they've moved up here from Toronto. They've moved up here from wherever down east to get away from the rat race. So our town is still vibrant and alive, but the faces are changing, and the old people, of course, are leaving us. And in a lot of cases, the young people have to leave to find work. So, you know yourself, most kids that go away to university, they might come home for a visit, but they don't come home to live.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that seems to be the trend in the North, where we are communities of economic boom and bust,
Yes.
and are unfortunately our young people, if there is no work, they are forced to leave, which is really unfortunate. So,
Yes.
but we'll be optimistic, and I'm sure things are going to change,
Well,
and hopefully for the better.
they're going to change for sure. They're going to stay uh, uh, not that bad because we're very fortunate here. We're shielded from many bad things in the world, and we have access to many of the good things in the world. Uh, the since the legislation surrounding Métis has come to the front of the federal government, it's a requirement of most governments now to include Métis as well as Aboriginals when they're dealing with any kind of a process which might have a bearing on their immediate area because of the knowledge that we have. Certainly not saying we have any more knowledge than local citizens, but in some cases we may have. So we get a lot of interaction with the federal government on I'm going to use consultations for lack of a better word, but certainly many meetings through the modern things of computers and stuff now. Thank God we don't have to travel so much. But as to trying to find solutions to problems in our region, so that is really one of our main functions. Is now we find the government is coming to us more and more. When I get up in the morning, I don't know what I'm going to find on my computer from the government, but it seems like at least once a week there's something new to address, even if we don't want to take part in it or we feel that it's not within the realm of our expertise, through the endangered species to the ongoing industry in the area.
So, are you feeling optimistic about the association as it moves into the future?
I'm thinking right now that the this probably is going to be a real good year. I think we're getting we're certainly now going along on the path of where we want to go and where we want to be. It's called progress. If you consider that our PTO is mostly run by volunteers, that the amount of money that we have access to through various programs now to help our citizens and our regions is quite substantial. That's a first for us because it's been a long, hard road because everybody is in the same boat. We just got to get everybody paddling in the same direction because the politics of division still work for the governments, and we have to try to form more allegiances with other Métis groups, with other Aboriginal groups. Right now, that is slow going, but we have seen great leaps and bounds. For our main chief for Ontario, he is now the chief of CAP, which is a nationwide, very big, important organization. The last 3 court cases over the last 15 years have been fought through CAP, and they've all been settled basically in Ontario. So it's really, really important that our PTO gets the recognition for that, and that moves us forward. And the Jackfish Metis Association, being part of that, will progress as well. Don, I have to say that I'm quite pleased at some of the things we've accomplished for our young people. And let's face it, almost all our thrust is not only for the town in which we live, but for our young people, and to make their future as good as possible for them, whether it's in Schreiber or whether it's in some other part of Ontario or Canada. We've seen progress in those areas. So do I look at us as being successful? I think we are, and I think we're going to get much better at it this coming year.
Well, hopefully you'll find more volunteers to help you along.
Well, we've always had enough, Donna, and enough volunteers. And when I'm really stressed or I really need the help, they come out of hiding and they give me the help that I need. Because I'm lucky, we've got the community to help us when we're in need, the members of our community. But we also have our PTO, which is a bigger organization than us. So we've got two safety nets, one being our own citizens here, and one being the membership in the association and affiliation with the Ontario Coalition of Indigenous People. So it's important that people understand that as there are different tribes of Indians, there are different associations of Métis. In Ontario, we have at least 3 or 4 that are quite large, some larger than others. Some are funded by the government, some aren't. So you can see the competition that's there, but on the same hand, at the end of the day, we're all citizens, all of us, the people of Schreiber and us. We all come from the same community, and that's our town. That's our home.
I just wanted to summarize with the emergency fund that's available. Is there a deadline for people to apply?
Well, from what I understand, we have quite a bit of there's quite a bit of available help. The help officially ends at the end of March, but because COVID is getting worse and worse, I think I'm hoping that is going to play out and be extended past March, because we're not seeing restaurants and things like that open up where people work as as servers and stuff. We're seeing them close down. So those people are still going to need help. The people that in industry whose jobs have been eliminated because of the shutdowns, they're going to still need help. So I think that we will see this carry on. I hope it will. And now it's not only we're authorized to give help to any Indigenous person living in the region who doesn't have a financial tie to another source. So I'm hoping that when I send my next monthly letter out to all our members, OSIP members and Jackfish Metis community members in the region, which will be going out probably next week, that I'm going to tell them if they know of any Indigenous people who are having trouble, to let me know. We're not going to save them, but we can certainly help them. So that's important. It's important that that news gets out, because sometimes the person is left behind because of who they are, and it's not nice. And we'd like to be inclusive. I would like to be able to help everybody, but of course, our funding is limited. So I have to run not necessarily a budget, because we can talk about that when people contact me. But certainly, I feel bad that because we're Indigenous groups, that the money from the government is earmarked for Indigenous purposes.
So is there anything else that you would like to add about your association that you feel that people need to know at this time? I really appreciate your sharing, and I certainly have learned a lot that I wasn't aware of as well.
Well, there's potentials of larger meetings, but of course, the scare of COVID is really keeping us kind of still right now. I can see a possibility of having a larger days of celebration ahead that will be open for my concern is the Schreiber people. I really enjoy doing things for them. One of the nice things that I liked, and when I was on town council, one of the things I really liked doing was having the trout fry for the seniors. It was always well attended, and it made people happy. So what we're going to be doing in the future certainly depends on the health of the country, but also what is going on in the region. We were just given a nice gift by a very, very, very large company up here that we're involved with. But it was a Christmas gift for the community. So what we've done is we put that away, and hopefully, when we get this COVID put away under control, we can have some kind of a get together with not only possibly our citizens, but perhaps maybe even some town people. So that would be nice.
Okay, well, thank you very much, John, for sharing all your information, and good luck in the future. And thank you.
Thank you, Donna. It's been a pleasure.